for this week's edition of Toro Talk, as we're joined by someone who just can't stop finding the back of the net lately. Dillon Schmidt joins us. And Dillon, thanks for being with us. I'm Joel Norman for this week's Toro Talk. You're on a roll right now. There's no other way to put it. 4 goals the last 4 games. You know, it's been great for the team to have this kind of depth scoring. What would you say has been the one key to getting you on the board so regularly lately?
Well, if I'm being honest, I gotta, give credit to my line mates, Shootout and Nicholas Howell. They've just been great for me lately. Just getting me the puck, and God, I just love having the puck, and just their speed is unmatched. I'd say we're easily the fastest line, out of our team. And I just, especially Shota, just, every goal that I've had, he's almost assisted. He's just been very, very consistent in that, and I just love playing with those guys.
It was something last week, I talked to the coaching staff. Getting Shota back was just huge. He's a guy who he has lately, but doesn't always show up on the score sheet. Yeah. But boy, has he really helped out. It seems like he's really made a difference for you, like you said.
I'd say so. I mean, Shota, since he's been back, he's one of my best buddies too on the team. Just talking to him about everything. I just like having him around. He's just a fun guy, and just on the ice, he's an even better teammate. Just seeing whenever we score something, just see his eyes light up. I just love it. Yeah.
It seems like your line's having a ton of fun. Like you said, between you, Nick Howell as well, and Shota, it's been a fantastic combination for that third line, which for a couple weeks it felt like the coaching staff was trying to figure out. Tell me what it's like, skating with Howell as well, because he seems like he's brought a nice edge. He played a little defense, centered the line at one point. He's played everywhere.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, Howell, I like playing with him just because he's fast. He knows what to do. He knows, like, when I'm going up the ice, he knows either give it to me, and if there's nothing, just chip it off the glass and let me skate to it, because he knows that I'll probably beat the D or get behind him or something like that. And it's just been nice having Howell, because he's a grittier guy, so he's not afraid to get in the corners. Same with Shota. Like, with those guys, they'll just go in the corner and just work, whereas I can just kind of sit and look pretty a little bit and something like that. But yeah, it's great having both those guys.
And Dillon, I'm really glad you brought up speed in general, because that was the first thing I noticed about you earlier this season. You had that assist on Soda Isogai's goal against Rochester on the road. You really made that play happen with your speed up the ice far side. It seems like you really enjoy skating right alongside the boards. Yeah. That's where you really pick up speed, and you see if they give you space, you're going to take advantage. Would you agree?
Yeah, I definitely would. I mean, growing up, I've usually been the fastest kid on the ice, and I just love it, because either it's a quick in and out, or it's just drive it out. And I've also been trying, since the coaching staff has been letting me, or just helping me, like, when I get into the zone, if not always to drive it every time, just to kind of post up a little bit and make a play or something. And I think that's really accelerating my game too, just excelling off my speed.
Yeah, the speed helped you with your first 2 goals of the season. You had the one that was a breakaway, a shorthanded goal. The next was a 2-on-1 goal, where, again, it's just skating came to play. But, we saw you score some goals other ways. So this past week, like you talked about, doing some different stuff, getting the tying goal on Saturday, just being right place, right time after a nice move. But talk to me about some other things you're working on. Like we said, we know what your strengths are right now. What are some goals you've got, though, for this season?
Well, goals for the season, I mean, what do we play, 46-plus playoff games? I want to get at least 25 goals on the season. I want to become more of a point guy. I've always been more of a playmaker guy, and I think it's finally my time to shine, because, on and off the ice, I'm doing the right things to be that. Other than that, obviously, I want the boys to win a Fraser Cup. That would be awesome. Like, that would be superb. Other than that, I mean, just have a good year and maybe get moved up to the NA somewhere. I'd say that's definitely a goal of mine. I want to be on an NA roster before the trade deadline. So, something like that, I'd say.
Absolutely. So let's talk about something I learned about last week. I learned about your shootouts that you guys do the day before the first game of the weekend to determine who ends up with the beautiful gloves that were Carter Newpower's.
Oh, yeah.
So we learned last week that Eric Larson, who was our guest on Toro Talk, he ended up with those. Who ended up getting the honor of having those this week?
Gil's Hammer got it this week.
He did.
Yeah. It was. I just love every week, because usually I score first, second shot, or third if I'm not doing too good. But it's just fun watching the guys do moves, and like some of the guys like Piff, like he'll go through like 6 or 7 rounds just not really trying, just doing funny moves, and then when he knows it's time to score, he will. Same with like Howell, he'll do the same exact thing. But it's I don't know. I just really enjoy it just because it's a bunch of fun with the guys, and that next Thursday practice is just a ton of fun watching the guy with just rainbow gloves dangling and moving around.
So you're saying you the mindset of you get on the ice for that and you go, you know what, I want to score early. Is that what you're saying?
Oh yeah, I will never have those gloves if I can prevent it. If that happens, I'm not going to be happy.
No, that won't be good. What's been your go-to shootout move for these?
Usually I try and do something like Patty Kane. I'll come in usually on my offside, and I'll kind of slow up. I'll come in with speed, then slow up a little bit, do a little hands, and then try and flip it top left. That's usually what I do. If that doesn't work, I'll do the same thing other side, do a little wave flow wand over the puck, and then try and get my backhand. But I've got quite the repertoire. I've worked at a goalie camp for the last 3 summers, so I'm just shooting on college goalies the whole time. So kind of learn how to score a little bit.
Hoping the Toro's goalies aren't watching this, of course.
Oh, no. They couldn't save it if they wanted to. No.
There we go. Well, let's talk about this coming weekend. You've got 3 games in 3 days. It's a really grueling stretch in general. I think, it's tough enough playing back-to-back, even after having a whole week off, because you've got to keep yourself ready for that despite all that goes on. But now 3 days in a row, 2 different locations. What's kind of been the team's approach this week? Take me into some of those, those locker room talks you have with the coaches on and off the ice.
Well, we know it's going to be a long weekend. Obviously, 3 games in a weekend is, we're not going to be used to it legs-wise, I think. I think it's going to more so be about, endurance and just long-lasting and just making sure that we can make it through the weekend unscathed and stuff like that. Because especially like on that first game against New Ulm, they're probably going to try and wear down our guys a bit for that last game because they know that we're just going to be, kicking rocks and stuff like that because it's going to, our legs are going to definitely be tired. So I think the mentality for the weekend is just going to be like, just keep going, maybe not hop in a corner and just get, beat the crap up or something like that. And just like make sure that everyone's there for all 3 games because these are crucial games. We need these points, But I'd say that's probably the message of the weekend for sure.
Absolutely. And Dillon, we hope to see you find the back of the net some more. You've been rolling. Keep it up here this weekend. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, of course. I appreciate being on.
Absolutely. That was Dillon Schmidt joining us, and this has been Toro Talk.